Good day, fair adventures of Gillinor. I'm Fox's Pancakes, and today I'm going to be guiding you through my experience with the classic MMORPG known as Runescape. When I was growing up, all my friends were absolutely obsessed with this game. If the discussion wasn't about how much school sucked, Pokemon, or something funny that we remembered from a movie we watched 2 months ago, odds were that we were talking about this game. Now, if you've seen any other videos of mine that involve some level of skill, you'll know that I'm bad at video games in general. Would you believe me if I told you that I was actually bad at Runescape? Yeah, of all the genres to have any sort of difficulty with, I had troubles playing the one that would grab you by the hand and lead you on different linear quests. Granted, I was 7 when I first started playing, but still, I was terrified of leaving the safety of Lumbridge to Varrock for the Grand Exchange because of these evil witches that patrolled the path on the way there. Looking back, I realized that I didn't even need to be remotely scared of anything, and I feel really dumb for being afraid to walk a pathway. Somehow I managed to get myself to level 23 without membership, and while playing like a little bitch, and it wasn't until I was in the 8th grade that I came back to the game briefly and took an adventure through the wilderness just to see what I liked. I think I logged off with my character standing somewhere around level 20 of the wilderness, and I never came back. Actually, I did try to log in with my username and password, but the game told me that the username was no longer active or something like that. I don't remember what I had, but it would have been a great trip down memory lane just to see where I had been. As a result, I had to create a new account for this video series for the new and improved Runescape. As you could probably tell, or can't because my laptop once again delivering on those high quality graphics, the official game has had some visual updates since 2011. Instead of being blocks with little dots for eyes, characters now have more defined facial features. In fact, the whole world looked like it's been redesigned with a more powerful engine in mind. Needless to say, quite a lot more than just graphics have seen changes since the original game came out. I don't remember much because the last time I really remember playing the game was nearly a decade ago, but the main difference that I've found is that you no longer have those cool little combat options that the game used to give you. Before, you could choose between accurate, aggressive, defensive, and controlled styles, otherwise known as chop, slash, lunge, and block. Now the only sort of combat options that you really seem to have are predetermined by the kind of weapon that you have. For example, one of the first missions in the game gives you dual wielding swords, and they're classified as the slashing type. And that's it. There's no longer an option to select how you want to attack an enemy, and something about that really bothers me. In an attempt to make up for this, the game has implemented an abilities bar at the bottom, which have cooldown timers and help bolster your attacks. This ability bar reminds me a lot of the combat systems used in games like Terra and DC Universe Online, where the player in that game is encouraged to tie abilities in with their attacks. Is it bad? No. It's been done before though, and honestly it's somewhat stale in MMO games. The problem I have with this new ability bar is that my prior experience with it in other games has been somewhat negative. In Terra, the animations tend to last for too long and make the combo feel clunky. In DC Universe Online, the abilities make your character so powerful that none of the side quests or even boss fights that you go on seem like they're actually worth anything. In those games it feels mindless, and even though I haven't really gotten back into RuneScape, the use of an ability bar similar to other MMOs that I've tried makes me worried for any potential for the combat to be ruined. In other words, now that I'm out of my bitch phase, I want to be challenged in my MMO games. Man, I talked way too long about the ability bar there. I'm sorry about that. After I completed the first intro couple of quests, there wasn't much else for me to do. Don't get me wrong, I understand that the point of an MMO is mostly to be there for the experience and for the grind. I've picked up Warframe as of late, and seeing how much of a grind that game can be, I understand what the sort of appeal of the game is to an extent. The thing that seems to separate RuneScape from Terra or DC Universe Online or Warframe even quest-wise is that there's no story or main quest line that the game offers you. Again, the point of an MMO generally isn't for the story, but if there were recurring characters or some grand point that the game came up with for your adventures, I think it could do well to add to the game. Then again, the game does introduce you as an adventurer. There are no strings attached, no irritating side character who tells you what to do all the time, and if you want to be truly free from constant questing, then why should the game put a damper on that? Perhaps I'm getting the lore all wrong and there really was something going for players in the original versions of the game. But as of right now, in the game's current state, once I had beaten the intro quests that are simply there to teach you the mechanics, I was sitting around Birthorpe thinking like, well, what do I do now? The only thing that answered was the constant reminder that I was a poor university student who didn't have the money to spare on a RuneScape membership. Eventually I started finding small quests around my area to do, and that sort of helped, but it was just like how I felt with any other RPG I've played. Go here, talk to the dude, do the thing, get rewards, rinse and repeat. Let me be clear though, I absolutely love RPGs like Skyrim and MMOs like Warframe, but it's mostly because those games offer a more interesting and rewarding combat feature while at least making half an attempt to give you a mainstream of quest to work with. At the end of the day, the new RuneScape just feels like any other MMORPG that I've played. Fun for the first 2 hours. Afterwards, I'll end up searching for another more interesting game to play and only ever come back to this one if I'm feeling bored or nostalgic. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, night, or space cycle, depending on when and where you watch this video. I'll see you on the flip side. Goodbye.